Black Magic Woman podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on. We also acknowledge traditional owners of the land where you, the listener or viewer, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to our elders past and present and acknowledge that this always was Aboriginal land and always will be Aboriginal land.
And so when I lost everything, I realised I had everything. The people, the community, music, love, feeling. The people in that house were safe. No one got hurt. And then I just went into action that day. I rang my manager and was like, we need to do a fundraiser.
Welcome to the Black Magic Woman podcast with Nara Bales.
Well, you are in for an absolute treat for this episode of the Black Magic Woman podcast. I cannot wait for you to hear the amazing sister who has been connected through other sisters to me from back in the Brizzy days. And now, my Tidda, you're living in another state. I'm living on Cubby Cubby country. And that's why we're doing this yarn virtually. I just want to say to our listeners and also viewers on YouTube, the quality, we always want it in person. You cannot get two of us in the same place at the same time. So let's make do with what we've got. So my beautiful sister, I'm absolutely humbled, privileged, and it's an absolute honour to introduce you to the Black Magic Woman audience and listeners. So thank you for being here.
Thank you,
and
sis.
As always, you know, the way that we introduce ourselves, you want to share with our listeners and viewers, tell us your name, your mob, and a little bit about where you grew up.
Thanks so much, sis, for having me on your beautiful Black Magic Woman podcast. I've been listening in. It's very inspiring and I feel very hyped to be on here. My name is Emily Wurramara and I am a Warnindhilyagwa woman from Groote Island and Biggerton Island in the Gulf of Carpentaria and Northern Territory, living now and residing in Lutruwita, home of the Palawa people. Just want to pay my respects to them and their ancestors that are also present here with us. And I am a singer-songwriter, producer, author now, director, and I've just releasing my second album, Nara, which has been 5 years in the making. And alongside this album, I'm also releasing a film clip for my single called Stay the Away From Me.
Is it actually a beep or does it spell it out on the album? The song?
I mean, it's on the album it's like an acronym, so it's STFAFM. So I'm pretty sure, you guys can figure out what the F means.
Yeah, love this. We're keeping it PG.
We were keeping it PG. But yeah, it's pretty special. You know, this whole album has been 5 years in the making, and just to be here and be releasing it and on my own terms and conditions as well, it feels really liberating. Like I felt like when I first started doing music and started like my whole music career, I was really young. I was probably like 14 years old when I really thought, yep, this is what I'm going to do as a career, and really started to do anything and everything that I could in music. And, you know, from where I'm from, I'm the only female singer-songwriter from my community. And so I just want to see more women from community and sharing their voices and their stories and being able to be themselves in a safe space. Like I feel like these last couple of years, I'm 28 now, so these last 14 years being in the music industry, I've had to learn and unlearn a lot of different things and how to create my own safe space within my circle and within my environment. Because, you know, as a young Indigenous Black woman, like you cop racism, you cop misogyny, you cop homophobia. Like there's so many different things that I've experienced. But one thing I'm just really proud of is not allowing that to shake me. And I think this new era of music really showcases not only like my songwriting and collaboration, but also like I co-produced the whole album with my beautiful friend Kuya James. And my father is a Filipino man, so Kuya means big brother in our language. And I think it really shows the power of vulnerability and the power of your truth when you walk in that vulnerability. And I don't know, like, it's just for me, this whole album and these past couple of years have been really empowering and inspiring, but also challenging. Like, there's a beautiful juxtaposition of emotions that I've experienced that really hones in on the shift as well, spiritually for me and emotionally, because I feel like when I'm writing songs or when I'm songwriting and doing things like that, I'm always thinking of community, and I'm always thinking of what's this going to leave? How is this going to make people think? How are people going to think the way, get uncomfortable and grow with this song? Or like, how are people going to feel? Like, and am I allowing them a safe space to feel? Because I think I'm very much a community driven person. Like, I don't, like, awards, all of that stuff. Like, I don't really give a fuck about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
if I'm with people, like,
your blackness, we talk about being grassroots mob, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm from my community. I've grown up black. All I know is how to be black, and sometimes our blackness is too much for people.
it honestly is. It scares a lot of people. Like, it really does. And it's like that. I feel like there's so many different perspectives of being black. Like, whenever I people see us as like angry, we always have to be angry. And it's like, no, we're allowed to feel pain. We're allowed to feel joy. We're allowed to feel love. We're allowed to feel all of these magical feelings, because that's what makes up us, that's what makes up who we are. And our culture is so full of all these different perspectives. Like, I find it really, really difficult sometimes when I'm in the room with songwriters and they just want to write about one thing, or like they have this perspective, and I'm like, nah, man, let's flip the script. Like, let's look at the other way and let's dream. Like, the things are so much more bigger than what they are, yeah. So I'm just a very deep person.
I listen, there's nothing wrong with being deep, and also you're a mother as well. How do you do all of this, navigate motherhood, raising your beautiful baby, and also, produce music, write music, and perform and travel? How do you do that all?
It is a juggle, like, and it truly does, like, that saying, it takes a village to raise, a child. It really does. And if it wasn't for my village, and the support that I've had over the years, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And I think having a village that believes in you and also holds that safe space, not only for you, but your family, like, whenever I'm touring and stuff, I know my man's right. I know my bub's right. Like, I know we're going to be right, because I've come to understand throughout the years that who you surround yourself with is so crucial to your art, is so crucial to your story, and so crucial to self, and that evolution of growth. Like, if you are surrounding yourself with the same people, you won't know any better. So I'm always
it limits
trying
your growth.
It truly does. Yeah. And so I'm always like really adamant on connections and relationships are really, really sacred to me. And like people who like I call family, like that's some deep love there. Like people who are in my circle and in my space have reciprocated the respect I've given to them, most importantly, and the love too. And I think when I'm touring and traveling, like I know those people also extend that to my family and to my baby girl, like she's my little conduit, like, she's my little twin.
An extension of you, your little mini me. Sis, I can't help but think about when the community kind of, got around you. When you're living in West End, it's probably a traumatic time to bring this up, but you just said about this sense of community and who you surround yourself with and around is really important. You probably rather forget when your house burnt down, the house you're living in West End was all over the news. And one of my best friends, Julia, who lives in New York, she used to live in that apartment, that little house, share house, and she saw it on the news, and social media was blowing up. And I think there might have been a GoFundMe page where everyone was chipping in to help you and your little young family, relocate, because you literally lost everything. And all of the love, I just thought, how deadly is this, that this love is being given and shown to a Black woman who's lost everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it I think for me, like, because this whole album stemmed out of that. When I lost, like, Nara in my language, Warnindhilyagwa means nothing. And it was a point in my life where I realized that even though I had nothing physically, seeing seeing everything burn and watching everything you own burn and is like a whole different experience, but it's also so cathartic. Like, I remember the day it happened, my brother was there and his friend, and we were sitting down, and like I was asleep, and my brother had to slap me to wake me up because I was just in such a deep sleep. And I just remembered looking over and seeing my grandmother's painting burning. And I was like, oh, a bit surreal. And I just started working on this album, and the only thing that was next to me was my laptop and Bubba's dummy. And so I grabbed Bubba's dummy, put it in my pocket, just really calmly. Just remember being so calm about it, grabbing a dummy, putting it in my pocket, and then walking out with my laptop. And I just remember people screaming and running. And then I put my laptop on my friend's car, and then we had to push the car out, and I was just really calm about it until we got across the road. And then, there were people over there and photographers showed up, and they were taking photos of everyone. And I remember I was going off and being like, stop taking photos of people, like, we're just going through a traumatic experience, like, come on now. And then my sissy Faye come and picked us up in a car, in a taxi. And my bub wasn't there and my mum wasn't there, so it was just me and my brother and his best friend. And even in the thing, I just drove away and I just remembered crying. But it wasn't like a bad cry, it was like a thank you. Thank you for giving me a reset. Thank you, universe, or whatever thing's been looking out. But I really needed this because I wasn't in a really good headspace at that time, and I just felt cluttered. And so when I lost everything, I realized I had everything. And the people, the community, music, love, feeling, like the people in that house were safe. Like no one got hurt. And then I just went into like action that day, rang my manager and was like, we need to do a fundraiser. We need to get everyone together, get the community together. And then when I did that post, because she took over my Instagram, I didn't see any of like the comments till a couple of days later. And I just remember just sitting there, and it felt like I was slammed like to the core, like to the root. And like my priorities changed too. Like the way I see people, the way I connect with people, the way I look at things, like every little thing to me is important. Like the sun, the sunrise, the sun rays, how they'll smell, like, all of that. I just really appreciate things more and people more as well. Yeah.
Who would ever have thought such a horrific, traumatic experience, like losing everything except for your life, your baby, the dummy and the laptop.
Priorities. And my baby wasn't even there.
But just, when you think about, sis, that these events, like I thought that this was going to probably traumatize the hell out of you by me bringing it up. When we're meant to be celebrating this amazing album that's taken all these years, 7 years, 5 years in the making. And, for my audience in particular, they've been following this podcast, Black Magic Woman, like the magic that you create on stage, the magic that you create in the writing process, and for people to be able to, I don't know, I feel like when I hear music, it's like it's a gift, that this is your gift to us as human beings, as people, as mob, as titters. So sis, I just want to say, from my family to your family, I love you. I respect you. I don't know if I could have been able to bounce back the way that you've been able to bounce back. Like, literally, sis, you're an absolute inspiration. The way you hold yourself,
Thanks,
the way you
sis.
carry
That
yourself,
makes
the
me...
way that you carry your baby out there in the public, and just your realness. Even when I'm watching you on social media, you are the most beautifulest person inside and outside. And I want my little daughter, Tiger Lily, right, when she thinks what beauty is, especially being a young black girl that navigates and is trying to navigate her blackness, and to put beauty and blackness together has taken time. And she's only 8. But when I show her photos of you and your just carefree spirit and how you kind of turn up or show up in this world is magic within itself. And the title of this whole show, in terms of Black Magic Woman, it's about people. It's about stories. It's about people's journeys, experiences. And if we do get to a point where, how did you become a doctor, or how did you become a musician, whatever it is that you do in life that, you know, might mean success to all different people. But just being able to bounce back and to draw strength from that experience. And I'm sure there's hundreds of other experiences that you've navigated as a black woman in the industry as well as a young mum. And those, we'll never hear about that, right? Unless you listen to your music. So please tell our listeners and viewers, before we wrap up this yarn, where can they go? Where are you next? Is there something you can share with us that's not out there yet?
Oh, thank you, sis. Firstly, I just want to say thank you, because your father was a big inspiration. I actually did training at 98.9 FM when I was 15, 16, and he really helped me with a lot of is how to navigate that space, and was very kind towards me. And so I really, your words mean a lot to me. And being on this podcast means a lot to me. I just love seeing black women at the head of things. Like, it's incredible. So power to you, sis. But, you know, you can listen anywhere. Like, I don't know what these mob use for streaming these days. I'm so outdated. I just go Spotify, or not even Spotify, but Bandcamp, because that money goes towards the artists. Buying people's vinyls. Like, you can buy my vinyl for Nara anywhere at JB Hi-Fi or whatever's music stores near you. You can find my music videos as well, beautiful creative pieces that we've made alongside the songs on YouTube, on We Are 8 app, which is an amazing app that celebrates happiness. I don't know, it's a really cool app. People should get onto it. Instagram, TikTok, of course, Tidal, wherever you listen to music, you can find me. Probably not in your bathroom or anything, but I don't know if you want to take me in there, but anywhere. Like, I'm just very grateful. I feel like, I'm also heading on a tour as well at the end of the year. Be doing a lot of solo and duo shows, and next year we'll be touring across the country at these amazing festivals, which will be so excited to be announcing and talking about on my Instagram. And on my socials as well. So it's a big year, and I'm just so ready for these songs and this album to be out there for you fellas, and for you to just enter these sonic portals and feel whatever you need to feel, because this whole creative project was made in a safe space with love and pure good intention for growth. And if it makes you uncomfortable, or if you need to yarn with anyone around any of the themes around the album, reach out to your safe people and lean on your community, because that's super crucial, and you deserve and are worthy of all the amazing, beautiful things that are going to happen, whatever they may be. So thank you, my sis, and thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness. I just want to say there will be an opportunity for you and I to do part 2 in person I'll find you, sis. I'll hunt you down. I'll find you. So to the listeners listening to this yarn, this was just the start. We were just getting started. There's people you've collaborated with, people that have reached out to you that you did not think in a million years would want to do a collab with you. So I don't know, is it will.i.am or someone from Black Eyed Peas that hit you up? I've been hearing some stuff. That black grapevine is pretty deadly. So look, when we come back when we do Emily Wurramara Part 2, we're going to get into some other stuff on what's been your highlight in terms of who you collaborated with, or what you see as, some of those successful or pinch me moments. So Matilda, I absolutely love you. I wish you all the best with this launch of this new album called Nara. Go out and get it, download it, follow this beautiful sister. And I hope I get to see you sooner than later so we can celebrate this amazing moment in your life. And there'll be more amazing moments. I'm pretty sure this is just one of them. So I love you, my sister. And thank you so much for making time for me.
Thank you for having me. Big love.
Big love to you too. So I just want to say to you beautiful people that have been watching or listening to this deadly yarn, I knew that you were in for a treat, and it's a little bit shorter than what I imagined, but there's always time to come back and do it again. And I'm sure there's going to be more that Sister Emily is going to share with us. So I hope you've enjoyed this deadly episode. Until next time, bye for now. If you'd like any more info on today's guest, please visit our show notes in the episode description. A big shout out to all you Deadly Mob and allies who continue to listen, watch and support our podcast. Your feedback means the world. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify, or even head to our socials and YouTube channel and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. The Black Magic Woman podcast is produced by Clint Curtis.